Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Choudry here, the sales superstar, the sales consultant, actually the sales prophet. I'm back again today having a chat with you about how important selling is. The last time we had an interaction, I was telling you about why every one of us need to be salespeople. I hope I've been able to convince you that each one of us needs sales, because in any case, what is it there in this world that we don't sell? Everything in this life is all about sales. Every negotiation that takes place, be it in government, be it in businesses, be it in families, it is all about sales. Today I just want to talk to you about one of the instruments that are so important for you as a salesman. I want to talk about selling on the phone. One time in so many years ago, there's this guy called Alexander Graham Bell, who woke up one morning and said, you know what, I think we need a gadget called the telephone so that it can help to communicate and connect the world all over. Alexander Graham Bell decided to make this machine and make a call to one of the staff who was working in his estate and said, hey John, come here. And then John went, and then that's when communication took place. And from that day onwards, be it presidents of international organizations, presidents of countries, even the Pope now uses the phone to make sure that they communicate. So the telephone, how do you sell on the phone? How do you sell on the phone? That's what we're going to talk about here. The telephone is the most productive gadget of any business. The most productive gadget in business, no doubt about it. You can give me a social media, you can give me Facebook, you can give me Twitter, you can give me YouTube, and you'll give me the telephone, and you'll give me a car. I'll still choose the telephone, because the telephone will help me to reach as many businesses as possible, and that will mean I'll be able to communicate and sell as many of my products as possible on the phone. So today I just want to talk about the phone, and how do you be able to utilize the phone to make a lot of money? How do you be able to utilize the phone to make sure that you reach as many potential customers as possible and be able to make a lot of sales? There are more telephones on earth, than human beings. Let's face it, ladies and gentlemen. In this entire planet, the telephone is in the hands of more people than people exist itself on planet Earth. That just shows you how important this phone is. In East Africa alone, let me talk about Uganda. Probably in Uganda, there are over 1 billion telephone calls that is made on a daily basis. People are making phone calls here to come into contact with families, making phone calls to businesses, making phone calls to government, making phone calls everywhere, making phone calls to your girlfriends, to your boyfriends, to your exes. I mean, we can go on and on and on. That's why the telephone will save you time and money. The telephone will save you time and money. And for that reason, you must be able to utilize it well. We must learn how to use this telephone. If you want to be great salespeople, we must learn how to use the telephone. How do you utilize the telephone to make a lot of money? And I'm just going to give you a brief here. What do you need to make millions of money on the phone? What do you need? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to give you some nuggets. I'm going to give you some snapshots, some points that you can be able to utilize. First, before you even think as a salesman, as a business person, before you even think of starting to use the telephone, I need us to do a data mine. A data mine is to get as many contacts as possible, because there's so many telephone numbers all over the country. There's so many telephone numbers all over Africa. Get data mine. Where do you get these telephones from? Go to a directory. Go to the directory of any of the country where you belong in Uganda here, where I am right now. You have the directory of Daily Monitor, you have the director of Private Sector Foundation Uganda, you have the director of Uganda Hotel Owners Association, you have the directors of Uganda Law Society, you have the directors of Kasita, you have many directors. So the first thing is, do a huge database of contacts. And when you have the database of contacts, now get organized, plan your message, plan your mind. The first thing is get as many databases as possible. Get the directories, go online. On the internet, there's so many phone numbers. Everybody who has their website, you find that they put a phone number there. They put the phone number there because they want somebody to call them. Now, you as a salesman, what do? You pick that number and you make that call. When you have now got the database, when you've got all the contacts, another thing that I need all of us to do as salespeople is to plan our message. Sit down and say, I'm going to call all these numbers. Who am I calling? I'm calling Great Lake Safaris. Who am I calling? I'm calling DC Sales Institute. Who am I calling? I'm calling Stanbic Bank. I'm calling DFCU Bank. I'm calling NC Bank. I'm calling all these. I'm calling Liberty Insurance. I'm calling whichever you're calling, whoever you're calling, whichever organization you're calling. Plan your message. What is the message you want to communicate with them? What do you want the telephone call that you're going to make to achieve? If you have gotten to understand what the message is and what the purpose of the phone call is, then you can now pick the call. And how do you plan that message? I need you to have a script. Design a script. If you're calling for business, design a script for that business. For example, I'm just imagining you're an insurance company. You could design a script that says, hello, I'm Daniel from so-and-so insurance company. Listen, we are into life insurance and we do this and this and that and that. Design that, write it somewhere so that you can be able to read it and you'll be able to communicate better. Oftentimes, many of us, we suck in making phone calls because we have not gotten a script. The script is very important. Prepare yourself to enjoy making that call. Prepare yourself, prepare your mind so that you can be able to enjoy making that phone call. Many of us, we just pick the phone and then you call. You have anxiety, you're having all these worries, you're having all this confusion going on. You need to prepare yourself, prepare your mind, prepare your heart, prepare yourself mentally to make a solid phone call, to make a fantastic phone call. When you prepared yourself, now you delve into making the phone call. And I'm going to the next point. Ladies and gentlemen, be enthusiastic. The next point here is be enthusiastic. Be honest, be transparent, and be straightforward. When you're making the phone call, you say, hello, I am Daniel from Daniel Choudry Sales Institute. You don't say, hey, good morning, I am Daniel, how are you doing today? We don't need that. You just be enthusiastic, be honest, and be transparent and straightforward. Hello, I am Daniel, calling from DC Sales Institute. You don't say, I am Daniel Choudry Pachuto. No, you said, I am Daniel. You just give your first name and then be transparent, be honest, be enthusiastic. Your voice must sound enthusiastic. If there's no enthusiasm in your voice, the other person probably is also having a bad day. Then you're adding another additional bad day to them. And you're not going to get any money out of that. So be enthusiastic, be honest, and be transparent and straightforward as making phone calls. It's very important. Be interesting and be interested. This is a very important aspect of making a phone call as well. When you're making these calls, be interesting and be interested. Be interesting. Interesting is you grab attention. Interesting, you grab attention of the person on the other side of the phone. Interested is the sound of your voice, the intonality of the voice and everything that you're using as you talk to the person. Sound interested. Don't just sound somebody who, some vulture who just want to come and pick a piece of meat and run away. Be interesting and be interested. And I will know on the other side of the phone that this person is actually somebody I want to listen to. This person, I want to hear more what they're talking about. It's very important. Believe that you can make a sale as you make these phone calls. Ladies and gentlemen, oftentimes many of us make phone calls. We make phone calls like losers. You make this call and then you're sounding like a walking coffin. You're sounding like you're dying tomorrow. Why don't you just die? If you're going to make a phone call, believe that you're going to get the deal. When you believe that you're going to get the deal, the way your voice will be so strong, the way the enthusiasm will be there, the way the conviction will be felt on the other side of the phone. Help the universe to conspire to help you succeed as you make these phone calls. The purpose of the phone call basically is to book appointments. So make sure that you believe that you're going to get this appointment. Identify and solve a problem. As you talk on the phone, try to understand exactly who am I talking to, what are the problems, and you have to bring that out and how are you going to be a solution to them. You say that direct, and I said earlier, be straightforward. You don't have to beat around the bush. Identify. You said, as I was doing a research about you, I realized that you guys have this and this, and I noticed that we have this fantastic service that can be able to help you. You looked at you have some sales gaps. There's so many turnover in your sales team. When we come on board, we'll train your team, we'll inspire them, and we'll encourage them, and we'll ensure that your team stays. But not only stay, they stay and they make money for you. Now, that is identifying and solving a problem. Oftentimes, it's very important. Many of us who make phone calls, we are just making plain, generalistic phone call. You have to identify a problem and sound like somebody who is ready to solve that problem. It's very important. Be memorable. That's another one. Be memorable as you make phone calls. The intonations of the voice, the sweetness of your voice, the strength of your voice, the accent. I know I'm speaking very good English right now, but I mean, let's face it. Be memorable. As you make this phone call, don't talk like you're sleeping. You're talking to a potential client who can buy your service, who can buy your product. Now, be memorable. Be somebody who talks and the other person wants to hear you and wants to see you. Not just hear you, but they want to see you. And the moment you pick the phone call to talk, sound so interesting, so memorable that the other person wants to see who is this person talking to the other side of the phone. It's very key, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you, when you do that, oftentimes you'll get that appointment. Make lots of phone calls, ladies and gentlemen. This is another very important point. I have been able to do consultancy for a lot of companies, and I have noticed one thing with many of us in sales. We pick a phone to make 2-3 phone calls, and you go to a sales meeting and you tell your supervisor, you know, I've been making a lot of calls, I've been making a lot of sales calls, I've made 5, I've made a lot of phone calls today, I've made 6, I've made a lot of phone calls today, I've made 10. Come on, man. When you are going to make phone calls, that's why earlier the first point I said is do a data mine so that you can have the directories, you have lots of phone calls to call. Now, when you sit to make a phone call, don't sit to make 3 phone calls, don't sit to make 6 phone calls, don't sit to make 10 phone calls. I want you to make 30 phone calls, 40 phone calls, 50 phone calls. How about 100? Is it possible for you to make 100 phone calls seeking for business? Just potential clients, calling as many businesses as possible to book appointments? Is it possible for you to make 100 within 2 hours? In my office, I have 4 salespeople. And in my office, each of my 4 salespeople must, as a matter of principle, make 56 phone calls every day. Now, 56 phone calls times 4, that is over 200 plus phone calls from one office every day. And we are booking lots of appointments. We are going for several appointments, and we are closing some of the deals. As you can see, in the last 2 years, the business has really been doing very well for us. And yeah, the money has been coming, and I'm very happy. You can see even the tuxedo is changing the way we dress up because we make a lot of phone calls in office. Now, I'm challenging you too, who is watching this video right now. When you sit down to make that phone call, make lots of phone calls, because the more phone calls you make, the more appointments you book, the more appointments you go for, the more your chances of converting these appointments into real business and be able to help your company, be able to help yourself, and be able to become the sales superstar that I need all of you to become. I need you to be great on the phone. One thing that I want you to learn about the phone, ladies and gentlemen, is that it's the best gadget that a salesman have. But you need to utilize it not to do gossip. You need to utilize it not to just make noise here and there. You need to utilize it not to just do WhatsApp. Utilize the phone to make a lot of money. I want to tell you a secret. I bought this phone a few months ago. But on the same day that I bought this phone, at about, I think, $150, I think, I made sure that I made money with the same phone that same day. I made that money back because I use the phone to make money. I don't use the phone to just make phone calls. I don't use the phone to just do social media. Even the social media that I do on Facebook, I do it to make more money. The WhatsApp I go to post about my business. Wherever I go, I'm doing a lot of things with the phone to make a lot of money. This phone, on a daily basis, you can post 10, 15 times about your brand, your business on social media, be it on Facebook, be it on Twitter, be it on Instagram. That is all the use of the phone. You can be able to go on WhatsApp and be able to engage. You belong to several WhatsApp groups on your phone. You go to all the WhatsApp groups and you post everything about your business. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you make money. That's how you utilize the phone to make a lot of sales. I thank you. And that's for today. Selling on the phone. Be great on the phone. Learn all the skills of making a phone call to make money. Sound enthusiastic. I have a database of a lot of contacts that you make on a daily basis. Make 50 to 100 phone calls in a day, not 3, not 4. 4 doesn't help you. When you make 50, ladies and gentlemen, you know what happens? The first 10 phone calls may suck, but the next 40 phone calls are going to be quality phone calls that is going to book you lots of appointments, and that's exactly what your business needs, and that's why you've got to act on all that you've learned today. I'm Daniel Choudry, the sales superstar. How about we do this another time again? Thank you.